But what is a thing about one of the guys sitting next to you that you were most jealous of that was the source of the most competition between all of you?
That's easy. I mean, I was training on my own before, and da da da, and I was like, I'm like lifting, I'm doing my thing. And I showed up, and I was just like, God damn, Zach.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
So good to see you guys. Obviously, it goes without saying, while these brothers, they loved each other, they supported each other, they helped each other, there really was a really healthy amount of competition between them because a lot of them really did want that title shot. And I know you guys supported each other during this shoot, but what is a thing about one of the guys sitting next to you that you were most jealous of that was the source of the most competition between all of you?
That's easy. I mean, I think like Zach's physical transformation. I was training on my own before, and da da da, and I was like, I'm like lifting, I'm doing my thing. And I showed up, and I was just like, God damn, Zach. He really just like he went all the way. It was really really impressive.
On that same note, it's like there's very specific thing I was training for, and I got some envy when I saw other parts of the preparation come through in your guys' roles. Like every time Stanley was constantly playing music and like doing art and thinking of like really creative, cool things, which were in the vein of the character, and that often made me go, God, man, I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. You're doing so good. And Jeremy's just he's so natural and present, and you listen so well. And it always brought me back to. I don't know. It was inspiring for me to work with you in all those scenes, man. So, yeah, we had a healthy competition between us, and I think that's why it felt so real, and yeah, it was honest. It was honest. We all felt like brothers when we were filming.
I got to tell you guys, I saw all of your transformations in this movie, and I came home and did like a solid like eight sit-ups, and then like looked in the mirror, and still I got nothing.
Tell, man.
Oh, can you tell?
Yeah.
I knew it. I know. I've been hitting Mr. Beef too much, which is my problem. All right, Zach. We're talking about that physical transformation. The one you made for this film. I'm always curious as to how physical transformations affect fans' perception of an actor, because obviously you can't always look like you do in this film or Baywatch. So I'm sort of curious how often fans meet you expect that Zac Efron. Like when a fan meets you and you don't look like you do in Iron Claw or Baywatch, does it throw them off, or are most people pretty understanding of how this whole thing works?
I don't know. That's just I think a part of this process and this life. But I love doing different things, and I've always kind of enjoyed changing it up and trying new things. So I think transforming is fantastic for roles, but I'm also looking forward to doing it in other ways as well. I plan on looking different for a long time, from month to month.
There's a Triple H quote that I love, which is success in wrestling is not determined by the number of wins, but the number of times you get knocked down and pick yourself back up. I'm sort of curious, as you guys were shooting these incredible sequences, what was your biggest success in the context of that quote, the hardest it was to get back up after you were knocked down?
I had to do a couple of drop kicks, so just physically getting back up after
Getting up.
Getting up. There was a scene when Stanley got thrown into it, and we just kept rolling, and you just had to do continuous drop kicks in a row, and that became about you literally standing up after every one of those. Those are hard.
And I remember too, like when we won, like completing that for the first time. I felt like so like great. It felt so good, and then I think just being reminded like, all right, now we're gonna move the camera over here, and we're gonna do that again. Just trying to capture that same sort of like energy and excitement, like time after time after time, But it really did feel so good. I remember shooting that day and like really feeling so proud of all of us. It really like.
Yeah. There's you kind of go into this David Goggins mentality, and I don't think any one of us over the course of filming wanted to lay down at any point. We were feeding off of that no quit, and just not settling for anything but perfect. And that helped us out, man. That's what the Von Erichs were like. That's what they really did.
That's true.
So it served the characters, and that became our process in our life for those few months.
We use the word perfect, and perfect is what it is. I'm going to cut you guys loose on this, Jeremy. It's getting to be, I think it's a solid, warm, balmy 30 degrees in Chicago right now, and I know right around that time, I know usually Bear shoots around the time when it's I don't want to say miserable in Chicago,
You like
but
to come when it's coldest.
that's exactly right. So I'm just sort of curious, like, your time in Chicago, you guys picked the roughest time to shoot here, how it affects not just your time on the Bear, but it shapes you into knowing that you can do anything, just like you handle this film.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really enjoy coming to Chicago around that time, and I think it's like due to the show, and but it's nice, man, because I feel like I love doing the show so much because I feel like we get to retreat into this little like bubble. It's so time consuming. I love those people so much. So cold outside, you don't want to go anywhere else. It's just like a really focused period, and yeah, I always look forward to coming to Chicago. I've gotten to know that city really well, and yeah, I'm excited to come back regardless of temperature in a couple months.
Well, we're happy to have you back. Guys, seriously, congratulations on this. The film is absolutely incredible, and I always do appreciate your time. Seriously, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you
Hi.
so much.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.